Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Welcome to Rotary. We have resolved all of our technical difficulties for the day, and so we are ready to get started. I am Rotary Club Vice President Robert Stearns. I'm happy to see you all here. We have a very full agenda, so let's get started. We will begin today with the invocation given by Bill Fairley, Financial Advisor, Fairley Wealth Management, followed by our national anthem played by past President Doug Briley, Fractional CMO and Marketing Consultant with Douglas Briley Consulting, LLC.
Thank you, sir. Please bow your heads. Father, we thank you for this food and the hands that prepared and serve it. We thank you for today and the opportunity to spend time with our fellow Rotarians and visitors. Help us to focus on what is truly important: service above self, honesty, kindness, humility, and charity towards those less fortunate. We ask this in your name. Amen. Amen.
Thank you, Doug. Now to welcome to the stage and introduce our visitors, Dr. Joe Michaels, Managing Partner of Solomon Bruce Consulting.
Thank you, Mr. President. We are very honored to have a wide number of guests with us today. Excuse me. Jam Horn is with us. Bill Fairley brought Jam. Jam, stand up. Very good. Wayne Ashley came with James Emmons. Wayne. Estrus Tucker always brings somebody, and today he brought Kathy Holt. Kathy. Past President Rebecca Montgomery brought Rebecca Schrank. Rebecca tells me she is an architect with Bennett Partners. She is licensed in the states of Missouri and Texas, and we are so glad to have her here at Rotary today. Joyce Newton is here as a guest. Brad J. is here. Brad is with Howard Altschuler. Brad? Courtney Lewis, our past president and market president at First Financial Bank, First Bank Texas, isn't it? It's a bank. It doesn't make any difference. Connie McCarthy. Connie? Courtney, I screwed up. That's okay. Kaylee Peacock is here with Shanna Saldana. Kaylee, over here in the corner. Juan Acosta came with Rosa Betahar. Juan. Caleb Johnson came with past President Courtney Lewis. Teresa Conwell came with a visiting Rotarian from the Long Beach, California Club. Teresa, we are so glad to have you with us today, all the way from Long Beach. Well, congratulations, welcome. And you're with Bill Fairley with Fairley Wealth Management. You got a Rotarian that will be able to help you get along. That's great. John usually is here with Evan Eastman. John? Oh, John's right there with Evan. And we're always happy to welcome Jason Ellis, the Senior Vice President Commercial Lender at Plains Capital. Jason? Mr. President, those are all our visiting Rotarians and guests.
Thank you, Dr. Michaels, and I appreciate the elevation of my status, but I will be returning the gavel back to President Ann Sheets when she returns from vacation. I'd like to take a moment to thank our program sponsor, Weaver. Weaver is a national CPA firm that provides value to our clients and a great place to work through strong expertise and practice, all while maintaining our Texas culture and values. Now it is time to recite the guiding principles of Rotary, those areas that we use to guide us in our personal and professional lives. We'll do the 4 ways test. So number 1, is it the truth? Number 2, is it fair to all concerned? Number 3, will it build goodwill and better friendships? And 4, will it be beneficial to all concerned? All right, thank you. Well, now it is that time of the week that we all look forward to. Please welcome to the stage our newscaster, John Fletcher, President, CEO, Fletcher Consulting, Public Relations. John.
I'm underwhelmed. By the way, good Friday and good morning Friday and good afternoon, whatever it is, and welcome to World Romance Scam Prevention Day. I hope none of you are catfished or otherwise find the wrong object of your affection. And no, it is not natural to fall in love with and have a relationship with an AI chatbot. And yes, today is also National Smile Day. If I appear to be emotional, please understand it's because of a family milestone. I have become a member of royalty. The State Fair of Texas has honored my name as the grand champion steer named Fletcher. At just 1,312 pounds, it sits 11 pounds lighter than I am. I'll be available to sign autographs at the end of the meeting today. It is an embarrassing decision made in the middle of a government shutdown. Instead of sending the National Guard to Portland, Oregon to quell riots, a confused staffer sent them to Portland, Maine. While there are no riots, Portland, Maine is hosting its Lobster Fest this weekend, and the staffer has been terminated after being classified as non-essential. And we will temporarily miss hearing the phrase, "I'm from the federal government and I'm here to help you." The federal government did shut down its non-essential services at midnight Tuesday, surprising many employees to find their jobs were considered non-essential. Our Rotary roving news porters share some stories. Jim Austin, where are you? Back here. Tell me yours. No, you don't have 10 minutes, Jim. Got to be quick.
Department you never heard of that so nothing for will be further.
Whatever. Okay, thank you. Christina Judge.
Government workers will lose thousands of hours of sleep they would otherwise be getting at work.
Okay, Courtney Lewis.
So instead of shopping online while working from home, government employees will have to shop online while furloughed.
Thank you. In more government news, Secretary of War Pete Hegseth, who is requiring overweight generals to get in shape, is hiring the legendary team of Hans and Franz from Saturday Night Live so that they can pump you up. And you heard it here from your Rotary News team, our sports director, Shavoyd Hamilton. Shavoyd.
Yeah, John, breaking news. The Texas Rangers did not renew the contract of General Manager Bruce Bochy. However, in a surprise move, the Rangers have replaced him with none other than Jerry Jones, owner of the Dallas Cowboys. And Jerry promises he can bring a Super Bowl victory for the Rangers.
Well, thank you, Shavoyd. And the runner-up for the position was Jesse Cole, the owner of the Savannah Bananas. Apparently, the Rangers were not willing to do a lot of trick plays and dancing this spring. True story, I did attend last Friday night's game of the Bananas in Houston. 3 couples were asked to give the most passionate kiss. The set of newlyweds, the couple that had been married for 3 months, did a little peck on the cheek. The 10-year married couple gave about a 1-second kiss. And then the couple married 48 years made out like teenagers for 15 seconds. In more baseball moves, a surprising number of players want to be traded to the Rangers because they're pretty well guaranteed to have the entire month of October off. Ooh. And the same is true for the Dallas Cowboys, so none of them have to face cold January weather for the playoff season. And in more Cowboys news, fresh off its 40-40 tie with the Green Bay Packers, the Cowboys are a 3.5-point underdog on the road this weekend against McLean Junior High. And speaking of sports, here's another report from our entertainment reporter, Kathy Neese-Brown.
weekend, the Super Bowl halftime show will feature Bad Bunny. Who is he? And his dancers will feature a cavalcade of past Rotary presidents, including Carlo Capua, Andy Tatt, Kurt Driver, and Rebecca Mocco.
There you go. You heard it here first. So now you want to watch the Super Bowl, whatever Bad Bunny is. And today's funny headline, an elderly woman and her accomplice made a slow-speed getaway after stealing a mobility scooter while the disabled owner was at church. In celebrity news, we just learned that actress Nicole Kidman and her husband Keith Urban are divorcing. Rumors are swirling that a certain hot Rotarian with incredible dance moves is Nicole's new target. I don't see Fernando Costa here. Maybe, is he here? Fernando, do you have anything you want to say right now? Okay. In relationship news, the Babylon Bee reports that a wife said she stayed up all night thinking about what her husband said about her, overthinking things. In more sports, this weekend, our Horned Frogs host Deion Sanders and the Colorado Buffaloes tomorrow evening at 6:30. Our Dallas Cowboys travel to McLean Junior High School for the game during recess. And Keith Urban will be live at Dickies Arena next Thursday, but he probably won't be singing love songs to Nicole Kidman. Finally, I heard that women love a man in uniform. I can hardly wait to start my new job at McDonald's. And as a bonus, if I ever agreed with you, we would both be wrong. That's Rotary News.
Thank you, John, and our audience participants for that enlightening newscast. Now we have a few announcements. First up is Courtney Lewis, Fort Worth Area President, First Bank, Texas. Make sure I get that right. Followed by Ed McGlynn, Insurance Advisor, Champion Commercial Real Estate. And then Regina Fadden, President, Fort Worth Museum of Science and History.
All right, just in case you haven't heard, we have a Rotary Golf Tournament going on. Let's cue the video. Technical difficulties.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Brendan Harrington. I am president of Audubon Imports in Fort Worth. I'm also a member of the Downtown Rotary Club, and this year a member of the Crazy Pants Golf Committee. So today we're at the James L. West Center, and to my left here is Dr. John Quincy, who proudly served the Air Force for 25 years?
Most of my young life.
Most of your young life.
I flew airplanes, which I just loved. I jumped out of airplanes, which I loved after I did it. And I went to the Air Force Academy and got a degree in physics. So they spread me around doing a lot of different things.
Perfect. All right, listen, friends, this is what we do and why we do the things we do. We raise funds for great organizations that need it, and we support our local heroes here at the James L. West Center. So with that, we have an ask. We have a challenge for the board members of the James L. West Center and for the Fort Worth Rotarians. We're almost there, but we got a small gap left to fill for the fundraise this year. So we've got a couple foursomes, we've got a couple sponsorships, and a couple dinner reservations left. So the challenge, the ask, is for you all to pick up the phone, make a call, send a text, send an email to your colleagues, your neighbors, your friends, and get some things sold. If you ask these people, they will say yes. And not just because it's a great tournament where you get some really cool shorts, but also because it's for a fantastic cause. And it's what Fort Worth does. We take care of our community and we do it happily. So dig deep, let's go. Let's make some success here. I look forward to seeing you guys at the golf tournament in a couple weeks. Thank you.
So as Brendan mentioned, this year, our beneficiary of our tournament is the Veterans Program at the James L. West Center. They were operating at a deficit, saw a need there, so we are working to help them provide care to as many veterans as possible. You'll see flyers on your table. As he mentioned, we do have a few teams left. We have 28 teams signed up. We'd love to have 36. If you don't play golf, no problem. Just come out and come mix and mingle with us. We have a non-golfer ticket available as well, and I hope to see you all there. Thank you.
Sorry. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Ed Macklin, the chairman of the social committee, and we have an exciting announcement to make about. Okay, Christina, what's your question?
Doesn't our Rotary lunch this year fall on October 31st?
Christina, I'm so glad you asked that. Well, I believe that's Halloween, I think. And to make things more exciting, we will be having a Halloween costume contest. Start planning your costumes now because we will have prizes for each of the following categories: best all-around costume, funniest costume, most creative and original costume, most scary and creepy costume, and then the best couple or duo costume. So that's 5. And we will have prizes for each one of those. So be creative. I will be one of the judges, and yes, bribes will be accepted. We look forward to seeing everyone dressed up on Halloween, and I look forward to seeing some of you guys at Peter Pan this evening. It's going to be a fun time. Thanks.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Regina Fodden. I'm the new chair of the Grants Allocation Committee. I think you might have heard something about that from me before, but just wanted to let you know we've been in transition. Elliot has done a great job with that, but I think we're going to, for the fall, I have to get confirmation from the committee, we're going to extend the deadline to get the grants in. It would normally be October 15th. I've got a new form up online, just went up. We've been getting some questions from people who have applied before. So we'll, like I said, I'll get that confirmed with the committee, but we are going to extend the deadline at least another month so that people are able to get the information in. As you know, these grants are given from the Children's Fund and the Endowment Fund, which includes a portion for the veterans. And so if you know organizations, we have given to a lot of organizations. A big change this year that the board decided on was we can give up to $50,000 twice a year to make a huge impact. That might be argued that we're giving to few organizations, but it is also something, again, where we can make something big happen for an organization, a lasting contribution. So again, like I said, so I have a great committee organized. Elliot's still on there giving us his wisdom, but again, look online. And if you can encourage, one of the things we also want to do is make sure that organizations that maybe weren't aware of these grants before might be able to apply. So as I said, you can look on our website, you can see the form, there's a jot form that the link can be sent to people. But I've reached out to people in the Hispanic community. I was at a fundraiser the other day and letting people know, there is this grant, and if you haven't received it before, we want to make sure that everyone in the community knows that they're welcome to apply, regardless of where in the city you are. And they said the endowment bylaws also spell out where we're allowed to give, but it's very broad. And again, because of the people who came before us and who thought well enough ahead to plan this endowment, we are a very fortunate club to be able to give money back to the community. So if you have any questions, you can reach out to me or Aurora. But anyways, like I said, just let me know. I said if there's anybody I can reach out to, I'm available for questions. If anybody has any questions, to walk them through what's going on, what the changes are maybe, or how to fill out the form. I hope it's intuitive online. But anyways, thank you.
Well, thank you for everyone for those announcements. We've had a lot of great things going on in Rotary right now. So next up, we have a blue badge presentation today. Where is Chavoyd? Mr. Hamilton, will you come on up?
Pretty.
I don't know if pretty is the right word that you should use for being Chavoy, but okay, we'll move on. And now here to introduce three new members, Rosa Maria Berdeja, Principal Attorney, the Law Office of Rosa Maria Berdeja.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. I am honored to introduce three new members to our Rotary Club family this week. And these are three winners of the Richard L. Knight Rotary Minority Business Awards. First up, we have Stay Hall. Stay is a visionary leader, transformative speaker, and passionate advocate for personal and professional growth. And I must share that even before I had the pleasure of meeting Stay, I was already following her on social media, and every day I looked forward to her inspiring and empowering posts that I have probably shared with some of you here today. She is the founder of Empower EQ, a nonprofit organization dedicated to removing financial barriers so that individuals can access the career and workforce development coaching that they need to be successful. She also serves as the CEO of the Institute for Success and Leadership Training, or ISALT for short, where she provides executive coaching and leadership development designed to help professionals elevate their presence, communication, and influence. With a deep commitment to empowering others, Stay focuses on equipping individuals with critical skills such as conflict resolution, team building, effective communication, and problem solving. She is especially passionate about women's empowerment, creating spaces and resources that affirm their value, voices, and leadership. Beyond her professional endeavors, Stay is very involved in the community and serves on several boards where she uses her expertise to drive impact, advocate for equity, and support entrepreneurship. She is recognized as a dynamic leader who inspires others to reach the level of success they both desire and deserve. Please help me in welcoming to our Rotary family, Stay Hall.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you so much for a warm welcome. And in a nutshell, all that means is I help to teach people how to act. That's it. That's it. Just how to communicate and be kind to one another. And I look forward to working with all of you if you have any needs in that area, or if I could just fill in a gap or be a bridge anywhere. That is my passion and my desire. I was told I needed to share a fun fact about myself. And so a fun fact about me is that I have had the opportunity to sing on stage with the Temptations several times throughout my life as a background singer, but I also would come up and sing My Girl, but instead I would sing a verse and sing My Guy. And so that's something that I'm really proud of. It was many moons ago, but that's just a fun fact about me that no one would probably guess because that was in another life. But thank you all, and I am looking forward to getting plugged in. And thank you, Rosa.
Next up, Christopher Reedus. You will join me on stage. Christopher is a proud Army veteran and owner of CleanJet LLC, a fast-growing commercial janitorial company based right here in Fort Worth. CleanJet specializes in professional cleaning, pressure washing, parking garage sweeping, and commercial facility care. Under his leadership, the business has built a reputation of excellence, attention to detail, and reliability, three things that are hard to come by all at once. But he doesn't just run a business, he lives a life of purpose. Christopher has been married for 7 years and is a proud father of 2 young children who keep him humble, laughing, and on his toes. He also serves as the senior pastor of St. Mark's Global Methodist Church, where he leads a growing congregation with a heart for outreach and discipleship. He's passionate about giving his time and talent to nonprofit organizations, especially those focused on youth, community development, and faith-based impact. Whether he's preaching, power washing, or mentoring others, Christopher shows up with boldness, compassion, and a deep desire to make a difference. Christopher, we are honored to have you join us. Let's give him a warm Rotary welcome.
Thank you, everyone. I'm happy to be here among some good friends, and I look forward to working with you to serve our community. The legacy of this club I was reading about, and it was this is a great place to be to have impact. Fun fact about me, yes, I was a veteran, Army, but now I fight dust bunnies and oil stains. Thank you.
And I agree with you, Christopher. This is a great place to be. Last but not least, I have Serania Oliver. She is an industrial engineer, entrepreneur, real estate investor, and mother. She is co-founder of Move USA Inc., a lifestyle bag brand based right here in Fort Worth, created to bring calm, organization, and affordable luxury to busy lives, which is something that we can all use. Beyond her professional work, she enjoys supporting local entrepreneurs, contributing to the growth of small businesses in the region, and exploring new opportunities in real estate. Her guiding philosophy is simple: turning lemons into lemonade, transforming everyday challenges into opportunities. Please welcome Serenia Oliver.
Hi everyone, I am originally from Thailand, and one of the biggest challenges in my life was learning and speaking English. That was the lemon that pushed me to come here to the US to study. And then that lemon has turned to lemonade when I met my husband, and he was the Fort Worth native. And we start business here together, and we also raise our beautiful son together here in Tarrant County. So I'm pretty happy that I finally found the ingredient to turn lemon into lemonade. And very, very honored to be a part of Rotary Club and have a chance to give back to the community and make the positive impact with all of you. Thank you.
President.
The bread pudding. Bread pudding.
Thank you.
All right, congratulations to our Rotarians. And now, to introduce our guest speaker, our chairperson of the day, Howard Altschuler, partner Weaver.
It's kind of weird being up here and not doing the newscast, so this is better, much better. All right. So our managing partner and CEO, John Mackel, has 25 years of experience, over 25 years of experience in public accounting. He began his career with a Big Four firm and joined us at Weaver in 2007. Over the years, John's dedicated his practice to providing high-quality services, primarily in the oil and gas, renewable energy, and investment management sectors. Before his role as CEO, he led our industry practice groups for 5 years and was responsible for leading and transforming the firm's go-to-market approach and growth strategy. The combination of a tenured career with Weaver, long-standing client relationships, and his role as a committed leader in the accounting industry has served John well and supported his initiatives and strategy as our CEO. John's an active member of numerous industry associations, helping him remain on the forefront of industry and regulatory changes. He earned a Bachelor of Business Administration degree in accounting from Sam Houston State University. John lives in Houston, we won't hold that against him, where he and his wife Amber raised their 2 daughters, who are students at Auburn University and Colorado College. But more than all that, In John's role as a CEO, he's the culture driver for the firm. Because of his leadership, our firm has been one of the fastest growing, respected firms out there and is constantly named as the best place to work. I am proud to be able to call him a partner. John?
But I didn't know about this parody deal with Dallas Sports. You giving that to a Houston guy? I mean, that is something. I was really disappointed when we heard about the Luka Doncic trade, especially being in Houston. We would have given you 2 draft picks for the guy. He's only the best young player. And then the Cowboys come along and trade their best defensive player for seemingly not a lot. The Houston guys don't know what to do. I mean, we're usually the ones doing all these stupid things, quote unquote, if you guys disagree. Thank you, Howard. That was really great. Brad Jay's been introduced. He's our executive partner here in Fort Worth, longtime audit partner. And then Rob Nowak is kind of between our Dallas and Fort Worth office, and he's our head of tax. So appreciate you guys having me here. Really just appreciate all the support we've gotten from the Fort Worth community. If you followed anything that we put out lately, we just celebrated our 75th anniversary. The firm dates back to being started shortly after World War II ended in 1945, when Lloyd Weaver kind of had a vision to start a firm that was going to help veterans as they came back, start businesses, do tax work, consulting. He hooked up with guys like Wayne Tidwell, formed the practice, and really started growing it. And so when I think about like 75 years, you kind of think that in terms of like, that's somewhat the average lifespan of a person. But when you think about an organization lasting 75 years, that's multiple generations of people coming up through the firm. And so when I think back to some of the leaders we've had in Fort Worth, not only Wayne Tidwell, Lloyd Weaver, but guys like Mac Lawhon, who ran our firm for 30, 35 years, Tommy Lawler, who was our COO and CEO for years, Jeannie Smith, who started our women's initiative and was a longtime head of our tax department, Mark Walker, and then some of the partners that they've left behind today, like Brad Jay and Clint Siddons and Kevin Sanford. The list goes on in Fort Worth of great, great people. And what we've all kind of benefited from this firm that was started over 75 years ago is that each partner was willing to kind of pass it on to the next generation of leaders at somewhat below market value prices, because they got a lot out of the firm. You know, when I think about careers like public accounting and law firms and doctors' practices, you have a lot of people that come to you in these firms that didn't grow up with a lot of money. Sometimes first generation, college educated, immigrants, you know, their parents worked very hard in a blue collar job, or you name the profession, just to try to get their kids ahead. And 10, 11 years into their career in professional services, they usually end up making 2, 3 times what their parents did. So when I kind of look at society today and where it's going with AI and other things going on, I think things like public accounting, law firms are still extremely important for our young people in our society to be able to keep that American dream going. When I sit here today and look at like the Rotary Club and you guys keeping the tradition going and everything that happens here, like that's very inspiring to me, because I think we sometimes move away from these things and don't realize how important they are to like the development of young people. Howard mentioned I've got 2 daughters. I've got one that decided to go play basketball at a really small liberal school in Colorado College, and I got another one that decided she wanted nothing to do with that and went to Auburn University to study accounting. They're always asking me, like, what's the most important thing I can do, Dad? And I'm like, it is network. It is talk to people. It is get off your phone. It drives my older daughter crazy, but I kind of threaten her, like, I'm not going to pay for college until you tell me about like 10 new relationships you've built. You've got to get in the habit of like meeting people and talking to people and figuring out what they do and what you want to do, opening up opportunities for yourself. And so I tend to bring my work home a lot. And so I'm trying to preach to my kids the same thing that I preach to all the young people that come over and work at Weaver. And you do find that your success, a lot of times, especially in a profession like public accounting, is the relationships that you have. It's the relationships in the cities, in the industries. We've done a lot of work over the years for the city of Fort Worth, Tarrant County, Fort Worth ISD, a number of small businesses to large businesses that were started here at the same time that we have. And you never want to burn those bridges. You want to build those relationships. You want to pass them on generation to generation. And I think that's been really important to the success of Weaver. And I frankly just want to keep it going as the managing partner and not screw it up in my time of leading the firm. So I am a Houston guy, and I do have a presentation, but I kind of like to talk off presentation. But interestingly enough, I do have pretty strong ties back to Fort Worth. My mother was actually born in Birmingham, Alabama, and when her dad, my grandfather, when she was about 2 years old, he was trying to make it as a truck driver, ended up driving to Fort Worth to take an engineering aptitude test at General Dynamics. He supposedly passed it with flying colors and entered kind of a work education program that was, my understanding, over like a 1-year period to see if he could make it as an engineer. So he moved his family to Fort Worth. He did make it through the program, did well, eventually built a house over in Wedgwood. I remember spending a lot of time over there off of Walla trying to figure out why every street started with a W. There are a couple that don't. I played a lot of basketball and sports down at the community center, but I've just always loved Fort Worth, come back to Fort Worth. I wish I would have had the opportunity to live here, but unfortunately, when I was like 6 years old, my dad got a job at Shell Oil, and we had to move to Houston. Houston's a great place, but the traffic is sometimes exhausting. And every time I come to Fort Worth, I'm like, man, this is a big city without crazy, crazy traffic. But last funny thing about Fort Worth. So when my grandmother, and these guys hear me talk about my mother's mother a lot because she was a big influence on my life. She followed everything that went on at Fort Worth. So I was a young partner I went from KPMG to McDonald Fox & Lund. Weaver bought McDonald Fox & Lund in 2007. And so I called my grandmother. I said, hey, I'm joining a firm that was started in Fort Worth. She said, what's the name of it? And she knew who Whitley Penn was, and she knew who Weaver was. And she said, oh, that Weaver, I hear that's the greatest firm ever. I know so-and-so and so-and-so and so-and-so. So then when I made managing partner, this was shortly after my grandfather died, about 11 years ago, I came in town. I said, hey, let's go to dinner. I've got all these meetings. I'll come pick you up. So I got her. We went downtown, and she said, hey, I want to go by and see the new sign. And we had been on West 7th Street for a while, and so, she was getting older, so I don't know what she was talking about, new sign. So we drove down West 7th, and she said, oh, I thought the new Mackle sign was going to go up. I said, I'm just trying to keep this job. I'm not trying to change the firm's name from Weaver to Mackle. Well, she said, but I told all my friends at Bridge that the Weaver was going to change their name to Mackle. I said, well, you should have run that by me before you passed that information on to all your friends. So I tried to talk to Mac and Tommy and some of the guys back in the day, but they weren't interested in changing the name. So anyways, thanks for kind of listening to that with me. Weaver, really going back through the whole history, I think we've really been a people-first firm. A lot of times whenever I get up and speak to people, it's kind of with the goal that, yeah, we want to get you as clients, but also if you have, children, nieces, nephews, and they're looking for a place to go, I want the first thing for you to say is, I hear that's really a great place to work, because we really do focus on trying to get a little bit of a different experience. I think a lot of the public accounting firms are doing better at that, where there was a lot of years where it was just kind of considered to be a sweatshop or someone you would work crazy hours around tax or audit deadlines. I think the firms have become a little bit more than that. And so Weaver really lives by these core values. I won't kind of go through them, but we did a whole project about 10 years ago just to kind of revamp these values. We want them to feel like they're part of a business. We're a true partnership where no one has like a large majority of the equity in the firm and never has. And so as a staff person, you should really feel like, this is your business, and hopefully you want to work towards being a part of it. Another one of these core values that really speaks to me is really supporting the people and the employees, taking an interest in them, and not just all being about work. And so these are core values that we've continued to live by and try to evolve and really work off of. Definitely not that we don't see clients as like as the number one thing within the firm, but we definitely believe if we take care of our people, then the people will take care of the clients. It's always within our profession somewhat a race to retain and attract some of the best and brightest people. We've got two sitting here that we attracted from other firms in Howard and Rob. Howard came over kind of a second career from EY. I knew some of the partners that he used to work for on the real estate side. And then Rob joined us from Baker Tilly. He actually moved from Chicago down to Dallas. And so we're seeing more and more people, especially with our geographic expansion, that are like, hey, we kind of want to be a part of this Weaver story and this Weaver culture. And that shows us that we're doing a lot of the right things as a firm. You can see kind of our vision here, striving to be accounting and consulting firm, and the best accounting and consulting firm in the country for our people and our clients, while celebrating and extending our collaborative and innovative culture. So I put this on here just to show you guys some of the acquisitions and things that we've done. And I think what's not filled in here is we're not really that great at doing acquisitions. What we've really been better at is building up our own people and then attracting talent in and giving people the opportunity to lead young. But at the same time, I think there were some key things. If you look back to the firm being started in the 50s and then expanding to Dallas in the 60s, that was really what Weaver focused on from 1960 until 2007, when they acquired the firm that I was with, McDonald, Fox & Lunn. And then Mac Lawhon had a real vision with his executive committee at the time of building out Texas. So from 2007 to 11, we did deals in Austin, San Antonio, and Midland. The next few years, we really just focused on like growing and working those deals, getting more talent in. And when we started looking at where we wanted to expand from there to become a national firm, we were so strong in energy and financial services, we decided it would be best to go to the big markets and try to take on Los Angeles, San Francisco, eventually New York. So most of the deals that we've done over the last 4 or 5 years have really been focused in those areas. People ask me all the time, like, well, what's been the toughest? By far, building our New York office has been the toughest. I think for one, our culture is very accepted there, and it's very different because I don't think a lot of the large firms run like us with more of an employee-friendly model. But everybody in New York tends to oversell themselves, and they're not quite as honest as people in Fort Worth, Texas. And so I tend to take people on the surface for what they tell me, and that got me in some trouble a couple of times. But we ended up getting a couple of good deals done with Levine and Seltzer, which was a real estate tax practice, and then a firm by the name of Bookbinder, and then recruiting in our own people. And now we've really created this core in New York that we're really excited about. And so as we kind of sit today, these are a lot of our stats, but I think what's unique is there's not necessarily a firm our size. We're currently ranked number 27 in the country that is established in California, Texas, and the Northeast like Weaver. Certainly some of the top 10 firms that are kind of all over the country have that, but most firms that are our size are really like strong in one region, but not strong in these three huge business districts. If you look at the number of transactions that happen in California, Texas, and the Northeast, it's pretty astonishing compared to the rest of the country. It's like 80% of the overall transactions happen in those three states. And so our goal was always, let's stick to our industry groups. Let's really stick to building specialists. Let's be pretty balanced across audit, tax, and advisory. And after we establish California, New York, and Texas, then we'll look to fill in the map. And so if you're following us, we're about to open up an office in Denver. We've got 3 partners there. That office is set to open up in the next month. Around January, we've got some partners moving from Los Angeles to San Francisco to open our office there. That office is mainly focused on building relationships with investment funds where we do like audit and tax for venture capital and private equity and hedge. We just hired, and he starts next Monday, a leader for our Boston office that we're really excited about. And then we've got 2 partners that we have plans for them next summer to move down to South Florida and start our South Florida office. We're also very interested in those Southeast markets. You're seeing a lot of people migrate, similar to Texas, to places like Nashville and Raleigh, North Carolina. Obviously, Atlanta's on our list. So we don't necessarily feel like we have to acquire firms anymore or to build in some of these new markets that we're excited about. We think we can do them as startups. And so that's somewhat our goal. So you kind of see the total number of employees, kind of where we rank, where our offices are. If you look at what we're strong at from a client base, 10 years ago when I took over, energy was dominating. We did a lot of government work, a lot of manufacturing. Financial services was up and coming, but it wasn't there. With all this investment in moving to places like New York and California and then Texas growth, we've really become an energy, financial services, government, manufacturing, high net worth tax practice. We're trying to build out healthcare right now. That's a really important initiative for us, similar to how financial services was an important initiative for us 10 years ago. You know, this just goes to showing some of the things that we've really focused on. We do take all of the best places to work in each one of our markets we make that a very important initiative. We want to be in the top 5 in most of our markets if we can be. That is really tough in markets like Houston and Dallas and New York and LA, where we're in the top 10 and it's kind of tough to get past the big 4. But you see all the other things that we kind of focus on in awards. I think Robert might have mentioned the best of the best AICPA firm award. That's very important to us. That's both statistical and based on what the employee feedback that we get. And then this just shows some of our growth. And I'm going to talk a little bit about what we're seeing in the profession. And if you guys have any questions, I'd love to answer your questions on what we're seeing in the economy. But you can see coming out of COVID, we had tremendous growth, really doubled the size of the firm over the last 4 or 5 years. But starting about 8, 9 months ago, things definitely started to slow down. And I feel like in a lot of ways, there's like 2 different economies going on. There's the financial services economy, which you obviously see with the stock market continuing to go up, maybe somewhat working towards bubble territory. And then there's the technology budget, which is all of us spending a ton of money trying to figure out software and AI and technology. But to me, when you look at the rest of the economy, whether it's retail, distribution, manufacturing, it's tough going. Professional services, it's getting to be a little bit more of a rate war. There's not as much new work out there. And so somewhat, it's a little bit of a good pause for us. When you double your firm over 4 or 5 years, you could get a little bit sloppy with how you're staffing and how you're controlling cost. And so we've really kind of been focusing internally on let's make this $400 million worth of revenue the best it can be from a statistical standpoint. And then we'll probably go through another high growth stage of 10, 15+% growth, and we'll be ready for it. Just a little bit more on culture and people. We had a video I wanted to show you, but one thing we've been doing, if you're following us on LinkedIn, is we select 4 or 5 employees a year that we want to do like a human interest story on you. And so we found that to be like not only impactful, but really cool, like where we're finding things out about our employees that we didn't even know. We have a managing director in New York, was the video I have. He was in and around the towers during 9/11. Him and his wife came out safely from it, but he was inspired, joined the reserves, talks about like his time in the reserves and why he did it for his country, how it really helped him and kind of rededicated himself to his career. You know, I've known Ralph for a while since he joined the firm, and all I've ever talked to him is about cost segregation and tax incentives and things related to clients, and then we find this thing out through the human story, and it's really cool. It's cool to hear people's stories and the different things that they do. The other thing we've really worked on is kind of our Expand the Reach program, which we've partnered with Dallas ISD, Houston ISD, a number of the school districts that we work with. And we've gone out, we go out and we try to educate the kids at these schools on why they should go into public accounting. Somewhat find that if your parents weren't in public accounting or they weren't lawyers or doctors, you don't necessarily know what those careers are about or how easy it is to potentially get into them and do really well. And so we're about 5 years into this program, and now we're starting to see these kids boomerang back to us. We're giving them scholarships if they stay in their accounting or finance programs. And it's really been something that I think has made a difference at the schools and made a difference with us. So, am I running out of time here? Okay. We have a coaching program that we've really worked on, and then I was told to talk about our foundation. We do put a fixed percentage of our revenue into our Weaver Foundation every year. And about half the money gets allocated to one large nonprofit that kind of benefits all of our offices where they can go volunteer and make an impact. And then we let our employees file for nonprofits that they want to support, and we'll give them up to $2,500 to support a local charity. And so that's been really, really impactful for us. We also give them like travel volunteer opportunities whenever they reach a certain milestone or point in their career with us. And I think a lot of the employees, they want a purpose outside of public accounting. And so I think it's been really good. All I was going to say on the profession is we are like you guys. We are trying to figure out AI. We are trying to figure out how much we want to embed AI into our programs to help us work. Also, private equity has taken a big interest in public accounting. We love doing work for private equity, but we want to stay independent of private equity. We believe in this model of passing the equity down to the firm. But for the first time in probably 100 years, the model is changing for a lot of firms because they are owned by private equity. I think half of the top 30 firms now in the country are owned by PE. So between AI and PE, I feel like the profession's undergone more changes in the last 5 years than maybe the last 100. So with that, is there any question I can answer for anyone? I know I'm probably between you guys getting back to work, but anything? We would have traded you Olajuwon and 2 draft picks for Luka for sure. Probably could have got Clyde Drexler back too.
Thank you, John. That was a very informative presentation. Again, it is a tradition of our club to provide our speakers with a donation to the Rotary International Polio Plus Fund, and so this is a memento of that donation.
All right, thank you.
Okay, thank you. All right, thank you again to our program sponsor, Weaver. Again, Weaver is a national CPA firm that provides value to our clients and a great place to work through strong expertise and proactiveness, all while maintaining our Texas culture and values. Next week, the TCU Strategic Plan, Chancellor and Rotarian Daniel Pullen, go Frogs, and our meeting is adjourned.